Hello everyone, this is the first session for our vocabulary series lecture. As you have already watched in the previous video, we are going to work on etymology and we are going to build your vocabulary from the root words. We want these lectures to be as short as possible so that we do not waste too much of your time. So the first session we are going to cover on personality types. So we'll take personalities, we'll discuss about personalities, we'll understand what different personalities mean, and then we'll go forward to the second session. And we are going to build up on all of the words which we are going to learn here. So pay attention. The first type of personality is a selfish person. A person who says, me first, what about me? What is going to happen with me? If I do this, will it be beneficial for me? A person who constantly thinks about his self. Mera kya hoga, mera kya, mera kya, mera kya. That sort of a person is called an egoist. Ego comes from the root word ego. Ego means I, mindness. तो मेरा घर, मेरा पैसा, मेरा क्या होगा. तो जो भी इंसान मेरे बारे में बहुत सोचता है, खुद के बारे में ही सोचते रहता है, खुद का फायदा देखते रहता है, ऐसे इंसान को कहते हैं egoist. Egoist, E-G-O-I-S-T, comes from the root word ego. Ego means I. Second type of personality, the height of conceit or overindulgence with oneself. या फिर सिंपल वर्ड्स में बोलूँ, एक ऐसा इंसान जो सिर्फ खुद के बारे में बात करना चाहता है. सेल्फिश आदमी खुद के बारे में सोचता है, लेकिन ईगोटिस्ट कॉन्स्टेंटली सोचता है, व्हेन कैन आई टॉक अबाउट माई सेल्फ, व्हेन कैन आई टॉक अबाउट माई सेल्फ, व्हेन कैन आई से व्हाट आई हैव डन. ये मेरा घर है, देखो देखो मैंने कितना अच्छा घर में रहता हूँ. दिस इज, लुक एट माई वाइफ, लुक एट माई होम, लुक एट द मनी दैट आई मेक. अ पर्सन हु कॉन्स्टेंटली prattles about oneself. If you let him talk about his life or her life, they will just go on talking and talking and talking and talking. They don't really care what is going on in other people's lives or in your life, so to speak. As soon as you start speaking, they'll be like, oh my God, when will he finish? I just want to tell him what I have done. So a person who constantly wants to talk about oneself, self-centeredness, will be called an egotist. Not much of a difference, but keep that in mind. An egoist is a selfish person who constantly thinks about what is it in his or her own interests. And an egotist is someone who just wants to talk about his life. These are the two types, egotist and egoist. Egoist is a selfish person. Egotist is a person who wants to talk about oneself. That's it. Third, let me help you. A person who wants to help others. This is the third type of personality. Such a person is called altruist. A person who practices altruism. So altruist is a person, comes from the root word alter, A-L-T-E-R. This is a Greek word, means other. A person who wants to help others will be called an altruist. Fourth, leave me alone. A person who says leave me alone. A person who likes to be alone. Such a person is called an introvert. Comes from the root word intro, which means within, and word means turn. So one who turns inward, one who looks inside, one who likes to look inside and stay with oneself, such a person is called an introvert. Fifth, let's do it together. A person who wants to go out, a person who wants to hang out with other people, a person who doesn't like to be alone. He always wants company. He gains energy by being with others. An introvert will lose energy while being with others, whereas an extrovert will be someone who gains energy if he stays with other people. So comes from the root word extro, means outward, one who looks outward, and word, as I have already mentioned, means turn. So one who turns outward will be called an extrovert. 6, neither extreme. So such a person who likes to be alone but also likes to hang out with other people. He is not too extreme. He doesn't say that I want to be alone only, or he doesn't say that I want to be with other people only. He enjoys his time when he is alone, and he also enjoys when he is with other people. Such a person will be called an ambivert. Comes from the root word ambi, means both. A frog is called an amphibian because he is able to live on both land and water. So ambi means both. So a person who is an ambivert is a mixture of introvert and extrovert. Okay? 7, people are no damn good. I don't really like people. I hate people. Okay, a person who says that he doesn't like or who doesn't love people or mankind, such a person will be called a misanthrope. Comes from the root word mycen, as I have already said, which means hate, and anthropology. You must have heard of this term, anthropology. Anthropology comes from the root word anthropos. Anthropos means mankind. So a person who hates mankind is someone who is a misanthrope. A villain will usually be called a misanthrope. A villain who wants to destroy the whole world will be definitely a misanthrope. 8. Women are no damn good. A person who hates women. Okay, so such a person is called a misogynist. Comes from the root word mice, hate, gyn. Gyn is the root word for women. So a person who hates women will be called a misogynist. 2 more personality types. 9. Marriage is an institution. And who wants to live in an institution? So a person who hates marriage is called a misogamist. Comes from the root word mice, hate, gamy. Gamy means marriage, Gamy. So a person who hates marriage. Such a person is not saying that he doesn't like love. Such a person will say that I have no problem with love. But marriage is an institution which is perpetuated by the society. And it is sort of a sickness which is perpetuated by society. It's a sort of a contract where the government and the society interferes with your personal life. Such a person will say that. I'm not saying it. So such a person who has those kind of views, such a person will be called a misogamist, a person who hates marriage. I'm clarifying again, such a person is not saying that he hates love. He says that he hates the concept or the institution of marriage. Final personality, ascetic. A person who lives like a monk or a hermit, साधु, संत के जैसे जो रहता है उसे हम ascetic कहेंगे. Comes from the root word asketos. Asketos means a monk or a hermit. A person who lives in self-denial, खुद को indulge नहीं करता है, खुद के flesh के चीज़ों में indulge नहीं करता है, does not pursue pleasures of the flesh. So such a man will live in self-denial, will renounce the world. Renounce मतलब त्याग, give up. He'll give up on everything. I'm not saying that he'll give up on anything that he does. I'm saying that he will simply understand that life is something that you can only enjoy if you renounce the world. So he'll live in self-denial, austerity, lonely contemplation. He'll think, he'll be alone and he'll be thinking constantly. And a life of moderation. He will not be too over-indulgent. If there are 10 sweets in front of him, he'll eat only one. Even if he's hungry, he'll say that we should only eat that much which is sufficient for us. We should not overindulge in anything. Such a person will be called an ascetic. So these are the first 10 personality types that you need to remember. I'll revise all of them. Egoist, a selfish person. Egotist, a person who wants to talk about himself, always concerned with what he has done, what he has achieved, what his life is about. He'll try to show others, showing off. Altruist, a person who wants to help others. Introvert, a person who turns inward, who looks inside, wants to be alone. Extrovert, a person who looks outward, wants to be with other people, gains energy by being with others. Ambivert, a person who is a combination of introvert and extrovert. Misanthrope, a person who hates mankind. A misogynist, a person who hates women. Misogamist, a person who hates the institution of marriage. And ascetic, a person who lives like a monk or a hermit. These are the first 10 words that you need to understand. Alright, I hope this was helpful. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.